So, good evening to one and all. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. So, as mentioned earlier, uh, this is the second series. So, humble, I heartily welcome you all to Notify with Confidence Series 2. So, we have been dealing with very tough times right now. I believe everyone must be working from home, and it's been a very tough time since this is the second wave that has been started, and many business has been affected by it. But on this time, still the sales business is where we can find more and more opportunities to grow our skills out, make a lot of efforts into it, and give a better ROI for the company. So in today's session, in the series two, we will be discussing on cold emailing program. I may be sure, like most of guys who are working in a sales department might know what exactly this cold emailing is about and how it is done. So to begin with our session, I will just give you just about what exactly the cold calling is about and the cold emailing is about. So we'll be discussing on both the topics. So we'll start off with the cold emailing. So before that, let me give you an agenda on what is cold email. Then we'll be discussing on cold email versus spam and the uses of cold email. What does effective cold emailing do, and how one can write a quality cold email. And in this 2021, is a cold email still effective? So to begin with, the very first question, what exactly is a cold email? Suppose you are in a product oriented company or a service oriented company. The most important thing that we require to run the company is leads. Not just leads, but the customer. But how we can get those leads or customers and turn them into a recurring customer or a profitable customer? To sell a product or service, it is essential to use a very complex approach, that will help spread information and get prospective buyers to go further and learn more about your offers. So you might have a determined audience for that. So you need to think over the channels that might deliver the data right into the user's hand. So a cold email is an initial email that is sent in order to gain a benefit in terms of favor, sales, opportunity, or any other dual-sided gain. So it's not just a one way of winning, it will be always a two-way winning when it comes to the cold email. So it has to be in favor of the customer and as well as in favor of the company that you are building. So in short, whenever you email someone, you don't know what kind of particular reason that you will be sending. So cold email is usually nothing but you might have a large number of data, a large number of audience, which is collected from a variety of sources. It can be either a digital marketing source, a social media source, or any other event or webinar related source. So it can be from offline, online. So there are multiple sources that you can get out all these leads. But do you really know them? But still you manage to send an email to them explaining about what we are providing, what we stand out, and why the service will be helpful for you. So explaining and all this detail to an unknown person is called as in cold emailing. So this is how you put out in a simple terms. So it's not just, as mentioned, cold emailing is not just limited to sales. There are several examples of cold email that we can experience and see in our day-to-day life. So even whenever you're working in a service-related company, so there might be a stage where you want to gain a trust of one of a lead. You might see that okay, this particular lead has a very large amount of project, and this might can be a very trustful and a good amount of investment can be required from can be expected from this particular client. So we somehow try to convince them through all these emails. So this is how a cold emailing works. So it may work for someone, it might not work for someone. So simply putting into a terms like for 100 emails, you might get some two or three customers. So this is how the cold email works. But in order to make it effective, what are the things that we have to do? So As you can see, this is statistics which we have taken out from one of our partner called Statista. So as you can see, email marketing is still at the top with an average ratio of 46%. Whereas if you see the personal relationship, content marketing, social media, word of mouth, direct mail, cold calling, so these comes after the email marketing. So email marketing still stands at the top because people will always prefer email rather than getting direct a call from anyone, or being meeting in someone and then discussing about the products and services. So first, any company or any lead will always prefer an email first. First they will understand what exactly the intention is, why we should meet, and what is the agenda of this particular meeting. So that's the reason email marketing is still at the top. We cannot ever avoid this particular email marketing for the future. So coming to next, avoid cold email to attract spam box. So what does it mean? So cold email, whenever you're sending an unrelated email, it will always attract a spam box. No matter how legit you make that particular email, there are chances to get into the spam box. So first and foremost thing is to understand what kind of email that you are preparing. So there are some points that you have to cover. So how you have to prepare an effective cold email versus how you can avoid it getting into the spam box. So saying about the first cold email, it should be a very highly personalized cold email. So highly personalized email in the sense like you shouldn't send an email which says like hello, we are offering a solutions for you. This might help, and so this doesn't become a personalized. So personalized here is where you understand about your customer, you understand about their problem. So you always include the audience name in your email. Plus, you always pinpoint out what exactly they are facing, what is the problems that they are facing, and what is the solution that we can offer to them. So this creates a highly personalized email. Might put out in some casual content in it. It might get very good open rates of that. So a highly personalized email may have a very high chance of landing into the inbox and making sure that that lead reads that particular email. Then comes honest and realistic. So honest and realistic is where we genuinely want this lead to be a partner for us. We genuinely want a business from them. So what we have to do is we have to ensure that we only sell that particular solution to them and not the other products or any other services or any other unrelated information to it. So it because always it might, if you're doing any kind of false promises to them, as it is mentioned in the spam box, if it contains a false promises, then there is a no use of sending those cold emails. That client might not even look open your emails at all. So you have to always make sure whatever you are mentioning, it should be a very genuine email. Then we have send only to target audience and not to everyone. So here, target audience is nothing but your preferred audience. So if you are running an e-commerce company, you might have an audience, a very large wide of audience, as it is a B2C services. You might have a very large number of audience, but it is not in the case of a B2B businesses. If it is a technology company, then their preferred audience or their targeted audience might be a chief technology officer, a developer, or a software engineer, or anyone who is relating to a technological field or an information related field. So these are kind of targeted audience wherein they can understand your product better than any other person. So simply sending out an email to someone that you don't know or someone is out of your demographic area won't give any result of it. So they might not even look away. They, even if they open, they might read it and they will be reporting it as a spam because it is an unrelated email to them. So you should have always have a target audience. So it should have a target set of audience. Then has a visible opt out option. So opt out option here in the sense is, if that client or if any lead doesn't want to receive an email from you, because already there is a lot of email that has been received from that particular company from you, and they don't want further any kind of conversation because they might be they are in not need of that particular service, or they don't want to work with that particular company. So it should have a visible unsubscribe option, wherein once they click it, they shouldn't receive that emails again. So if you're not having a visible option, there is a high chances of your emails getting reported as spam, which might affect your domain as well. So a very high spam rate can make your domain land into a blacklist. So you have to always ensure that whenever any cold email has been sent, it should have a visible opt-out option. Then comes professional email accounts. So this is a very important aspect, wherein whenever you are sending a cold email or an email to a client, you should always make sure that that email has been triggered from your company email address or a particular domain, and not any public addresses like Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, or Hotmail, etc., etc. So you shouldn't send any kind of professional emails or product or service related information emails from these particular domains, because it might always consider as a spam. So always you have to make sure that you send from your professional ID or your business ID or any kind of domain that you have with a proper name to it. For example, John at the rate salesforce.com. So this becomes a valid professional email account, rather than making it as John at the rate gmail.com. Won't give you any results. You have to always make sure that the business ID should always be the first option whenever you're sending an email. Then, as mentioned, always use a real name. Whatever your real name is, you have to make sure that you use your real name and not a fake name, because for the further communications they might use that particular name for sending a reply back to it, and then continuing a conversation, and later if it comes to know like, no, this is kind of a fake name that has been used, then it has a high chances of reporting you as a spammer. So to avoid that, you have to ensure that all the email content which you're preparing, from the sender ID till the unsubscribe, everything should be genuine, and everything should contain relevant product or service related information, whichever is useful for that lead. So this is how you avoid attracting the spam box. Followed by how cold emails can add value to your business. So this is actually a very kind of an interesting area. So if you speak about cold emailing, it has a high chances of increasing a company's revenue. So there is a very high ROI, but it is not as easy to get something out of it. So there are so many other options which you have to try. So cold emailing being one of the option, have some multiple areas which you have to concentrate. For example, first is lead generation. So 89% of the marketers uses email as a primary channel for lead generation. Why? Because it has a capability that where a lead can always give a valid information into it. So let's say if you are a newsletter, if you're running any sort of newsletters and you want to provide any sort of informations for your customers, so what you will do? So you will prepare an email template. You will make sure that you have your forms linked to it. So in the forms, you will always ask the name of that particular person, the email ID, the valid email ID, the contact number, the what kind of issue that he is facing, and whether he would like to receive any updates. So based on that, you will always prepare a form which can all which gives them daily updates on it. So in this way, that particular form can be transferred to one particular lead to other leads. So what will happen is, ultimately there will be so many leads that might be coming in, but in order to make it, you have to ensure that you use a valid set of email content in it. So a high number of marketers prefer using that. So if you see a graphical representation of it, the audience reach. So there are like three ways that has been mentioned. So one is the direct mail. So direct mail, as I told, it will be kind of a very formal email asking like whether you are in require of the service or not. So if they need, they might reply or might not. Whereas next is cold emailing. So why cold emailing comes before and cold emailing at the first? So cold calling comes at the second. So why it happens is people doesn't prefer to receive a call from an unknown person asking whether you are and looking for a service or not. No matter how many calls you do in a day, won't give any kind of response. Let's say if you call around 50 to 60 leads in a day. So there is only a chance that you might get only one customer out of it. Whereas not in the way of cold emailing, because there is an option where you can look into that later part, and then making sure that you have a proof. Okay, you have connected with this guy, so you can have a constant follow up. Whereas not in the cold calling. So there is always time when you mess up when you call, because there are times when the lead might ask you like, from where did you got my number, and what is the answer that you might give. So as I told, all this cold emailing and cold calling have this databases coming from multiple sources. So you might not know what you have to say. Like they can always complain about this particular company as well, like without knowing any intentions. This guy keeps on calling to that particular lead and explaining about their services, which is not at all useful. So always this might this might have a very huge number of uh, you know a less number of calling rates into it. So cold calling always have a negative impact when it comes to the sales. So always it is always good to invest on the cold emailing part. Then is invitation. So inviting people by cold emailing for a webinar or workshop. I might, you might have seen like before connecting with this webinar, you might have received some reminder of emails. You might have received some email like, thank you for registering for this webinar. You have been successfully registered for this webinar. Here is the registration link. So as and when the days goes, you might always get a follow-up, a reminder format. So it always helps to build a relationship between the company and the lead. It means that the company is always thinking about that particular lead and making sure that it all the information is being reached to him properly. So invitation or a follow-up will always boost your cold emailing to a certain extent. Then comes the market research. So you might need to identify the pain points of your target market or to validate your startup idea. So market research here is something where you connect with your audience. So what kind of audience you are looking in, or what is your exact targeted audience? So if you see, if you run a technology company, as I told in my previous uh, like if you're running a technology company, you might attract a certain persons who is working on that particular domain. So you will always do a market research wherein what kind of customers you will be looking for hiring. So cold emailing is one of the ways of doing your research. So you might ask to that one particular developer or a person whether this particular service is useful for you, whether this particular tool can help boost your time work and help boost your productivity in it. So you might get some relevant information out of it. So market research comes a very important aspect of area when you try to do a cold emailing. Then we have the hiring. So hiring comes totally a different part, wherein if somebody else might be looking for work and they are looking in some for kind of an opportunity. So LinkedIn is one of the best way. And then comes the cold emailing, obviously, because you might receive a lot of emails from Naukri, Indeed, Shine, or any other jobs portal stating that you have been selected, or there is vacancy available here. So it increases hiring. So if anybody is looking for a job, this might also work, to connect a person to his favorite job. So hiring is always covered in that particular cold emailing aspect. So then we have, what does effective cold emailing do? So it is in to put out in a simple term, how you can make sure that your cold email has a very effectiveness into it. So what are the things that you have to carry out for that? So first is tailor the message to the recipient. So it simply means that you need to do your research. Let's say I have received about 25,000 of cold emails since last year. So many of them make kind of a generic mention of something on the first page of Google results of my name, the launch into a ridiculous tone, dev request, etc., like that. So there will be something mentioned like, "Hey, can you read my this kind of novel? Give me an extensive note and then get me an agent to it." So this is not kind of a personalization. So as I mentioned, personalization is very important whenever you are having whenever you're typing an email. So it means that you should know what that person is uh, like what this person is working into, how they see the world, what interests them, and what they actually want. So you have to develop a theory of mind about that particular recipient. So you also make it very clear to them whenever you're emailing, by your research, that people are far more motivated to help others when they feel uniquely qualified to do so. So always make sure that you have a personalization as a top priority. Then comes validate yourself. So when we meet a stranger or get an email from one, we want to know who that person is and why that person matters to us. So person here stands as a lead or your targeted customer. Remember that whenever a lead is always on research for people who is mailing it to them. So you have to make sure that you first know about yourself, and then you should know about the others, and you have to make sure that there is something common between. For example, if there is kind of an event that has been that you are attending, and your lead is also interested one of the event, you found some data from that particular event, and you try emailing them. So that will be one particular common point that you might meet up to them, saying that, oh, it seems that you are most interested in knowing more on the artificial intelligence and how it works. Even I am very much interested to do so. Can we catch up sometimes on that and discuss furthermore? And to to this kind of informal communication, you try to mention about your product and services. So what happens is creates a common interest between two person. So they might also think, okay, this person is seems to be quite interested in this particular topic. Why can't we have a discussion? So it have so this clears a clear concept on that particular lead's mind. Then comes elevate your audience pain or give them something what they want. So there's something like, why should the recipient care about your email? That's the first question that we have. Why should this busy person take the time to respond to it? Why will he do so? Whenever you're sending a mail, you will always expect that person to give a reply back. But why should he do that? Like, what is in it for them? So you have to remember that people will go much further to avoid the pain than acquire pleasure. If you have done your research and found a major pain point of that particular lead, you can always highlight that in your email. So as I told, if any developer or if any technology person is facing an issue with completing a particular project and your tool can help them, then that particular pain point should be mentioned in that particular email. For example, like, hey, I see that your project is still in developing, and our tool might help you boost it with your by spending a minimal time on it. So I can give us a solid explanation on that. So this creates an interest into him, and it always makes sure that, okay, the developers will feel that, okay, I'm facing this kind of a pressure here. I'm facing this kind of problem here. I believe that this particular tool can help me. So he will always try to connect with you. So picking a pain point of some recipient will always give you a reply back to it. So this is how you create your own set of audience. Then next we have like keep it short, easy, and actionable. So it's like the opportunity to help someone is very enjoyable for a lot of people. You probably know this, like, but short emails are more likely to be read than a long ones. So having a very long set of description in an email will always bore a person, and he will avoid the reading the whole email and just skipping it to trash bin. So you have to make sure that the emails are more likely to be a very short, very crisp, and very clean to it. So one of the best ways to keep things short and direct is to write the way you would talk. So if you met this person somewhere, you would just walk up and start pitching them. So you will always first introduce yourself, say something about them, then connect with them. So we have LinkedIn right now. We connect over then create an interest. So that is a kind of cycle that you're working on. There is a kind of a process that you will be going on. So you will first, once you connect with them, then you will start sending a request to them, as more reading your email out loud, and then you're sending it out. So just it will always create an interest in particular lead, and there is a high rate that particular lead or your customer will always send a reply back to it. So this is how it should be done. Then always be appreciative and a little vulnerable. So it's not like every time whenever you are sending an email, you should ask something in favor of. So you have to always express a gratitude and some vulnerability to them. So you give them a feeling that they are a very good person. They choose to help, and they're kind of little in rush of power and status, but you are still approaching them. So you have to make sure that you always praise your client with great things that they do. Might not be sure, but you can always give a try for that. So this is where you always read the mind of a lead. So he will always feel overwhelming to that particular email, and he will send a reply back stating like, hi, thanks for your concern. It was very great that you are so concerned about me. I'm really doing well about, and thank you. I'll be looking into your product. I'll be looking into this particular email, and I'll be definitely giving you an update over this. So you might can expect some kind of reply out of it. Then at last, never ever use a template. So don't just use a simple template. You had to make, because most of the marketers, like 70% of the marketers around the globe, will always use a Google search template. So a Google search template is where you will find a most common kind of content available in it. So that content might be used by so many salesperson and so many marketers around. So it doesn't give any kind of open date. So, and all whenever you use a template, it will always land up into updates or promotion, because there is nothing new about it. So it has been used, widely been used by most of the marketers. So you shouldn't ever use a template. Template can only be used whenever you are referring to, whenever you're preparing your own code template. You can use it as a reference, but not for sending anybody to on that email. So you have to make sure that you always prefer your own content. It should be coming from your creativity, and probably you can get the designs and reference from Google source, but always make sure the content is yours. I hope this is one kind of an example which you can see here. So as you can see, this creates a more of a personalized email. So as you can see, hi Stephanie. So this is where the lead knows that particular a client. So this grabs an attention. Like, based upon your Twitter, you are a fan of Beyonce, inspiring me to reach out to you there. So a fan of Beyonce. So it means that you know it always creates a curiosity to them, like how did that particular lead come to know that I've been working out, and maybe it's not true, but it always creates some curiosity, and it always grabs an attention of that particular lead, and he always tries to read the whole set of email. Maybe the first 2 points might be irrelevant for them, but by the end, if you can see, you try to explain your features, the product information, the service information, everything. So initially, this is kind of a trick wherein most of the marketers uses to grab particular attention. So not necessary to go too formal. It can be something else as well. So but ultimate point here is you try to grab an attention by using something informal or a casual talk to it. So it always boosts up your open rates of that particular email. So if you can see here, this particular example, as it has mentioned, Beyonce of the sales tools, our platform provides real-time transparency into reps' most engaged prospect and gives detailed reporting so managers can be more strategic to their coaching. So if you see, it started from a very informal communication, then it has been going out to a very formal, explaining about the features, explaining about the product information. Then at the last, if you can see, they we are trying to ask them out a valuable time for them. So might you be willing to connect just for a few minutes to talk about how we can get your team onto Queen Bee's level? So this is where the lead or the like we are asking the particular lead to connect over a comfortable time. So this is how you create a very well personalized email ID. So always you have to ensure that you grab your attention first, then your informal communication, then slowly you have to switch over from that informal to your formal company related information, the product you are selling, the service information, and then asking them their comfortable time to connect and then discussing on that. So this is one kind of an example. Here is another example for you. If you can see, had a look at your website after a diving. So as you can see, here is also a name mentioned like Hello Jason. So again, a personalized format. So after diving a little bit deeper into how we are helping B2B companies and non-profit organization to the teams to be more successful. So again, so this is creating kind of grabbing attention. As you can see here, it's not relevant to the solution, but it sounds like they are sharing a mutual interest in it. So either you can see, as it is mentioned at the last, also a big fan of the UFC. Why do you make the Khabib versus Firefight? Might he not be a UFC fan, or he might don't even watch a UFC. But again, this is creating some kind of interest over there, and making that particular lead to respond to your email. So this is a kind of a format which you all can follow whenever you're sending a cold email. So now we'll move on to like how one can write a cold email. So there are so many points that has to be considered here. So the first is the opening line. So as I told, sending the same kind of template won't give any, as even if you send a same kind of email to the 100 prospects, will always give you a zero response, or either maximum you might get a one response out of it. So this is not how it should be done. So uh, as I told, personalization always stands at the top. Then you should always propose the value of it. So proposing the value here, proposing the value here mentioned is like, so what do you want to communicate with them? So what is it that you want to share with that particular person? Your recipient don't care if your businesses has won a lot of awards or anything. You have to put something value into it. So it should make them to read your email. So once you have a great opening line, you get the point and talk to them. So something like you reach out to prospect in the hope that they will become your customer. For that to happen, you need to point out what's currently wrong in their system. So as I told, uh, pinging onto that pain point will always create a value and gives you a reply back to it. Then you always end with a call to action, as it was shown. So like, when is the a great time to connect with you? So once they complete reading out email, you have to always mention like, can I have your valuable time? Can you please spare your 5 minutes of time or 10 minutes of time to discuss on about this particular issue, and how our solutions can offer you result driven uh, result driven opportunities, something like that. So as you can see here, a comparison of it: 70% email campaigns with some advanced personalization, 7% email campaign without some advanced personalization. So you can see the difference here. So how the this is kind of an open rate, that how they are getting out of it. So these are some of the do's and don'ts, which we have to make sure that whenever you are sending cold email. So these are a very important points whenever you are sending out. So these do's and don'ts should be followed very properly. So first is understand your prospect. So first things first, you need to make sure that you understand your prospect. Those people you send the cold emails, it will always better to research their demographics, the things that interest them, their values and more. So once you understand your prospect, it would be much easier for you to tailor your message and make it more relevant for them. So as and when you make a relevant, provoking messages will most likely increases your response rate. Then we have use the right tone. So by understanding your prospect, you can also choose which tone you can use to talk to them. So it is always on the way you type. If a prospect a younger generation, you can use a casual and friendly tone, just like the tone you use when you talk to your friends. Or if your prospects are mostly older and professional, it is better to add a bit of formality but still sound conversational. So the key here is to write as you talk to your prospect. So you don't need to write like a professional to sound smarter or more professional. All you need to do here is to be a very respectful while at the same time keep it a very conversational tone. Then we have customize and personalize. Your prospect like it when they receive emails that specifically crafted for them and speak directly to them. So, and on or not kind of a broadcasting messages, that would be kind of one single message might be broadcasted to everyone in that particular group. So it always creates an impersonal out of it. So a high personalized email can easily grab the prospect attention faster and quicker, and it always tempt them to read your emails and further whenever you're sending out. Then fourth is be quick and straightforward. So long-winded emails always sucks, as I told. So nobody is interested in reading a long emails at all. It might always land up into a trash can of the user. So remember, your prospects are very busy. Not to mention, like they receive emails from other product or other companies as well. So they might not look into your mailbox until and unless it grabs their attention. So they don't have all the day to read through your emails have for a complete stranger. So it is a very crucial to send them a cold email that is very clear, concise, and straight to the point. It will surely help your emails not to end up in trash folder. Then we have offer a solution to the problem. So prospect only take action when they feel like they have to. In other words, if something isn't really worth doing or trying, they don't even bother to perform the desired action. So in this case, you need to offer them a proper end-to-end solution to their problem that they are currently facing with their product or their services. So you have to always highlight their pain points in the first place and then mention like how uh, our product or how we can provide a solution for that. Then the sixth point is include a clear CTS. CTA here is call to action. So call to action is one of the most overlooked elements when it comes to the cold emailing. In fact, it is a kind of a magic button that can guide your prospect to the next step. So more often than not, call to action is best placed as a closing to your cold email. So right after you talk briefly about your purpose and your value of your email, you have to make sure that your call to action include matches the context or the offer, like what exactly you're offering here. So, for example, some call to action will be like, "Are you available for a call? Are you available for a 15 minutes call on this particular date on this particular time?" So, I would be very happy to connect with you and discuss more on this particular topic. So, this is where you create a call to action button, so making it much more easier for the prospect to understand your offer and tempt them to respond your cold emails. Then at last, add a signature. So email signature act as your electronic business card. Since you are a stranger to your prospects, you need to let them know who you are and what do you do in your business. A very basic email signature includes like your name, the title, company name, website address, and your social media profiles, etc. So you can design your own signature. So always make sure you present yourself over there. So including, it gives your recipient always a trust between them, like okay, this is a kind of a valid email and not a fraud message. So and making it more professional, adding a bit of professionalism to it. So these are some seven do's that you have to follow whenever you are doing a cold emailing. Speaking about the don'ts, so what you have to avoid whenever you're making a cold email. So as I told, it shouldn't sound like a template. You shouldn't go to Google, just search a blank template, which has been widely used, and then copy the same and send it out to the recipient. No, it won't help you. Using a template can save your time and energy, but won't give any result out of it. So not to mention that many marketers out there use the same template as you, making a cold email sounds too generic and stands no chance to stand out. So if you decide to use a template for cold emailing, make sure you tweak a little bit to it and make it sound like you have wrote this particular, you have typed this particular content. So you have to adjust the language, the context, and the tone of it. So this is the first thing you always avoid. Then make it all about yourself. Here's a harsh truth: prospects don't actually care about what you offer to them. So they only care how it will benefit them in some ways. Either it can be a pricing, either it can be some product, or either it can be any discount offers that you're giving. So they don't know anything about you. So when they don't see any value in you contacting them, they will just ignore your emails, letting it rot in the inbox and ending up into the trash folder. So you need to make your cold emails all about the prospect. Then write. You have to always avoid writing heavy text and bulky paragraphs. So whenever you're writing cold email copies, it is better to have more white spaces. It makes your copies much easier on the eyes, helping the prospect to read them seamlessly. So you can leverage your visual contents like adding some images, GIF, or any video to help illustrate your points. So those content will always help you deliver message in a way that rather than sending something kind of a plain text in it. So however, you have to bear in mind that you always have a proper balance of your content and text, so you have to maintain the proper particular ratio of it. Then do not mention several topics. So talking about multiple topics in one email won't give any value. So only talk about one topic at a time. It makes prospect understand what you're contacting them for and what they should do as a response. So if you send a single cold email to talk about several topics, it's just too much to ask for your prospect since you never had connection with them. You don't even know who that person is. So always a clear short message with one single topic, one single purpose is a proper key to mention in an email template. Then do not flood a lot of follow-ups. So this is a kind of mistake that so many marketers or salespersons do, that they bombard the prospect with lot of follow-ups, even though they might haven't read that particular mail, but still you keep on for sending a follow-up email. You must understand that not everyone feels comfortable when they receive an email from some random person who offers a product or service. That's why you might need to create a follow-up emails to stay in touch with them. So giving them chance to establish a better connection with you. But even though whenever you're following up, as it is, you're creating a new relationship, you shouldn't push it too much to an extent. So you should have always have a right balance and right amount of the follow-ups that you're using. So use follow-ups only for reminder whether or not a prospect still valued this offer or for a relationship building. Then no proofread. So after you finish writing your cold email copies, don't forget to check the grammar and the spelling. So lot many marketers, use this kind of use third party templates, and there might be some grammar issues or spelling issues. So it might sound so basic, but not all marketers pay a closer attention to this one. So typos, grammar errors, and misspelled words are a very bad way to begin a connection. In other words, it is definitely not a positive first impression to make it your prospect. So it might be a very clumsy to see that there are so many little mistakes and so many little grammar mistakes that creating. So the professionalism ends over there. So they might consider your email as been sent from a an unprofessional guy. So it is kind of a human psychology. Like he cannot have he doesn't know, or he or she doesn't know a proper verbal communication. How this person can help us in solving of a problem, how we can communicate with them. So it always lead to a negative impression to them. Then the biggest thing to avoid is including attachments. So attachment might seem like a smart idea to give your prospect, but it is not at all a professional way to send an attachment in an email. So not to mention that including an attachment in your cold emails will always end up in spam folders. So it is also possible that your prospect decide not to open that attachment, as it might always have a malware attacks, or there might be some other issues that he might doesn't want to open. So ultimately it might go to the trash can, and it will report that particular lead might report this your domain or your sending id, and your domain will be blacklisted. So high number of these kind of reports will always end up in a blacklist. So summing up to it, cold emailing can neither make or break your business. So getting them wrong can reduce your business credibility and trustworthiness. So meanwhile, if you nail it, it is a powerful strategy to build a very strong, solid relationship with a prospect that can lead to a boosted conversation rate. So cold email. So these are some of the do's and don'ts that you have to follow, and making sure that your business runs out very properly. So as at the last point, is cold email still effective in 2021? Yes, it is. So email usage is still on a growth trajectory. So there is no stop in the email. So as and when there is a high number of startup is coming, high number of technology is coming. So email stands at the top of conversation. People will always prefer any kind of communication to happen over email rather than over any other platform. So any other B2B business decision makers will always have an email copy of each and everything. So email always creates a record for each and everything. So you have to make sure that you follow all the best practices to make it much more effective. So thank you. That's all. Thank you so much for listening to this webinar. I hope this might be a very insightful solutions for you, and you can use the same points to make your cold emailing in a much better effective way. At last, we can move on to a question and answer section if you guys have any. Okay, so this is a question from Mr. Ahmed. What exactly creates a difference between cold calling and cold emailing? So basically, as I told, cold calling is, where people directly call you without a prior intention of it. But as I told, cold calling doesn't always works. You might give some 50 to 60 calls, you do some 70 calls in a day, but you hardly end up getting some one responses out of it, because people are not comfortable getting call from a random stranger and mentioning about the product and services. You cannot go to tell them like, hi Mr. John, this is XYZ here. I just called you to mention about our product and services. This might help you. Do you have any requirement? No. This always creates a negative information, and he will report this particular call always. So he will always mention that where did you get my number? So who are you? From where did you get my number? I never gave my number. Is any company selling my number? So please let me know, or else I will be reporting. So this might always creates a legal issue as well. So it is always good to avoid cold calling until and unless you are not very clear who that particular lead is, or from where did you get that particular data. So if you have the rest of the data, then a cold calling well works for that. So cold emailing works on the same way. So any more questions? Okay. All right. So I believe everyone had a very enjoyed this particular section. I hope it was very insightful. Thank you so much for joining this particular webinar. I will look forward to I look forward everyone to attend the third series, which will be coming up on the next month. So wish you all a very good luck and stay safe this tough times. And all the best for you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you.